This is a magnificent example of Elizabethan cabinet making. As you see here, a wonderful white finish. These incredible slats here, these exquisite handles, absolutely craftsmanship here, from a period where the English were rather taking a back seat to the European cabinet makers. And you must understand that in the Elizabethan era, cabinets like this were very, very, very rare. But this particular example is absolutely magnificent. Just look at the two top compartments up there, just perfectly balanced with a lovely light shining against it, and these exquisite little handles here. Isn't that absolutely wonderful? My goodness, to actually be here standing in front of this is the most moving thing I think I have ever done in my entire life, I have to say.
And with an object as moving as this, what sort of value would you put on this if it came, and if it went to auction?
We're talking in the realms of pure kind of guesswork here. These are so rare, in fact, that the chances of ever turning up at an auction is almost nil. You know, I mean, there's probably only about 5 or 6 of these in existence. There is one in the British Museum in London. There's one in the Fitzwilliam collection. But the most incredible and most exciting part of this is to see what is actually behind these doors. We don't know what is actually behind here. Let's hope there's some really priceless things. Oh my goodness, my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? Look at that. Oh my
Well, there's
God.
some
Oh my God.
wonderful.
My God, look. Da Vinci. Da Vinci
This is-
spacecraft. Do you remember those, oh, this is incredible. At the time Da Vinci was working on The Last Supper, he had this idea of space travel. What it would be like, what kind of craft men would use to go up into space, and this is one of his models. Isn't it remarkable?
That is absolutely astonishing.
Absolutely astonishing. Not very far from what actually exists in space now. Oh my goodness, this is just truly astonishing. Oh my goodness me.
So what date would that be?
Oh, around about the 1600s, I think. And these are, of course, Queen Elizabeth's bathing pumps. Actually belonged to younger Queen Elizabeth I. She put these on. They look surprisingly quite modern to our eyes. But
Well, to the untrained eye.
to the untrained eye, they look like a pair of trainers, child's trainers, but you know, it's quite amazing. And these wonderful
What else?
garments, yeah, you know, it's absolutely wonderful. And this looks very
Would
much.
that also be a Da Vinci piece?
Very well could be. I'm not closing the door on that. No, it actually says cassette, but that is actually Italian for something. Ferro C90 cassette, and people look at this and think, well, that's an audio tape. But in fact, you know, we're talking about hundreds of years ago. It looks very much like an audio tape, but in fact is something else. Doubtless our experts at Fitzwilliam could look at that.
But I thought you were I thought you were one of the you were the expert. That's why we've hired you, Sir Dennis.
Yes, but it's remarkable.
Well, sure you have a clue of what that's for. And
Well,
what that would have been originally designed for.
Probably a primitive
It would be a sort of.
to do with
Would it be
something like-
anything to do with weaving or anything?
Probably looming, weaving in some way. Yes, certainly putting.
Would that have been
turning around.
drawn across the loom?
It's a remarkable substance, almost like plastic, isn't it? It's almost plastic, but.
Well, the effects that they could achieve with lacquer, with black lacquer in those days.
And even here, quite astonishingly, W.H. Smith actually, it's Smith,
which is of course the aim.
Is an ancient.
Well, they were a supplier to the Borgias, weren't they?
That's right.
Or rather, the house
right,
of Medici.
Yeah, that's very good. Yes, the Borgias were Smiths. In fact, Lucia Borgia would say, "Where's Smith today? I want him to
bring some figs to the
some
villa.
weaving implements to my villa." Yes. And this remarkable, almost looks like a staple gun.
Yeah.
Quite elaborate. He's actually
Would be
one
a
of the most macabre discoveries I've ever discovered. Is actually a torturing implement where often young children's hands would be crushed by the Borgias while they were being interrogated. Obviously.
But are you sure, Sir Dennis? Because I have seen similar objects, which were clearly it's known that they were actually hair clips. See, this would go. This would have gone on the head of this would have gone on the head of a large Venetian lady. You see.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes, and of course.
You see, the hair would flow through there.
Of course, and then afterwards.
If I could just model that on you, you see, that your hair would be, instead of your hair there.
Yeah.
Well, if you had a long tresses as these ladies would want to, because you could just hold that.
Yes, and then of course you'd have a little mirror to have a look at the results.
Well, of course that would be the mirror, and what's missing here, of course, would be the little painted miniature oval portrait of the lady. But unfortunately, that's gone. So that would take quite
a little Marantelli or portrait there, perhaps.
Yes, that would take some of the value off that.
Yeah.
But if I could just model that against your head, Sir Dennis, if you had your hair down your back, this would be the clip. Do you see? The clip would be here. Well, if it was held across the front of your chest,
I'm not entirely
if it was held across the front, if you brought your tresses down here, you see, you would have that clip about
there.
It would be held at about that height.
Yes, but
and your tresses would then flow.
I don't think you were right at the end of the day. I think it is a torturing. I don't like to say it. I know terrible things went on in the past, but obviously.
Well, if I can disagree with you there, I absolutely insist that
this is my program, John.
This is a hair clip.
This is my program. Okay, I mean, I talked to you about this. You weren't to bring up your own little theories, or you were to make. This is to make me okay.
But we did not make that into the contract. You wanted that in the contract. I refused to. You wanted it to be in the contract, but as I said, I refused.
Now look, this is, my show, John. I have to point that out to you.
Well, that's patently obvious. We've already established.
It doesn't
that.
help if you keep interjecting with your own ideas about what these objects are.
Yes, but I'm just trying to bolster the quality of the show.
It reflects badly on me because people are thinking, well, does he really know what he's talking about?
Well, if you have made an error in identifying one of these objects,
I have made an error
it is my duty.
I have spent my entire life researching
to present my own view.
No, I have a lot more experience than you have. I travel around the world. I go to all the countries in the world. I look at artifacts everywhere. Where have you been? You once went to Paris in the 1970s. That's all you've done. You went to Paris once in the 1970s when you were a 12-year-old boy.
But what I took in Paris...
Going to Paris once when you were 12 doesn't make you the world's greatest expert on anything.
Well, I saw that clip.
You saw that?
I saw that clip, Dennis, and this was... You don't forget a thing like that. Look at the bloody size of the thing.
It's a torture implement.
Right? As a hair clip. Have you ever seen a hair clip that big?
Well, no, I haven't seen that. That's exactly why it isn't a hair clip.
Well, that's precisely why I have...
too big.
That's precisely why I have remembered it since I was 12 years old, because it is such a curiosity.
No, I'm afraid you're wrong. I'm sorry. This is... You really must keep your opinions to yourself. I'm sorry. You really must. Do not... I don't like to be pushed. And you're pushing the limits of my patience here now.
I think perhaps it would be better if we terminated your contract at this point.
No, look.
And stopped filming.
And ruined my career. Well,
Well, why not?
We're in the middle of a series, and you come up with that.
Well, why
Right
not?
in the middle of this series for BBC Two, and you say that? Who the hell do you think you are? Who do you think you are? How dare you?
All right, Ed.
You have no
Boys,
no right to terminate my contract. You can't do that.
Well, I am the producer
Look, you
of
can't
this.
do that.
I'm the
Okay.
producer of this television programme,
No,
and if
I'm
I
the
feel
presenter.
that anybody from
Who
the
knows
lowest
the
gaffer,
producer? Who knows the producer? Who says, "Oh, look"?
If the carpenter
there's
decides
Hamlet.
that he
You've
can't-
just seen Hamlet.
if the
Oh,
if
isn't
I
that
see a-
wonderful? Who was the producer? Nobody knows who the producer was.
look, just
Now look,
look, just
Shut up.
No, please.
just shut up.